Powered by Riverside.
Hey, welcome to a very special BJB Today. So this is why it's very special, Mr. Rochon, who's joining me. This is episode 200 of Blue Jay Banner Today.
Awesome. Let's go.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I didn't know if we'd make 50, frankly.
Right. I thought you were going to say it's special because you kicked my butt in the US Open picks.
Well, that too.
So,
Oh, yeah. I think our middle guys are fairly well. Burns came on at the weekend, so that was a big
Yeah.
one. But my wild card guy did great. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
in the top 25 for a long time.
I know.
So
Mine was in the bottom 25 for the whole time. So,
yeah, I mean, still, I just think, you're hitting shots a third of the way into the green and they're rolling off the back 50 yards.
yeah. Yeah.
It's
Exactly
okay
what we
if you have
talked
a
about.
couple
Yeah.
holes like that, but I don't think you need. Why can't you just grow fescue back there and make it harder?
Yeah.
Like 3-4 yards off the green. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Well, happy 200. This is awesome. It's very cool. It's been a blast being on here. So, yeah, I'm glad we've made it this far.
well, let's go 200 more.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So today we have a big topic too. So we're going to discuss and debate and kind of rank the 5 guys who we think are most important / indispensable / need to have a good year type thing, like for our team to be successful. These aren't necessarily the best players.
Right.
They're just guys that we have to have perform at a decent level to be successful. And before we get to that, we're going to talk about Vino Moss. Go to Vino Moss and VinoMoss.com. 2 great locations. And as we mentioned a couple days ago, still, since the College World Series is now over, they still have those slugger wines, a great selection of red and white. So check that out as well. Always check out their wine tasting and their wine club. So check them out. That's Vino Moss. 2 great locations in Legacy and in Eagle Run. Okay, so let's start throwing out some names, Michael.
Honestly, I think that, in my opinion, the success of this season I think Jackson is, right up there. I just with his skill level and his ability to stretch the floor. And I think we kind of talked a little bit about this last year about, what he can bring on the defensive end when it comes to his length and rebounding and things like that. So, like, Jackson is going to be such an important piece for Creighton this year, and their success. I mean, he's such a skilled basketball player that, I don't think we talked enough about this, and I know I've brought this up before. I don't think we talked enough last year about how much Creighton missed him.
I don't think we did either.
I don't, or maybe it just didn't, just because there's so many different things going on that it just we never really brought that up as much as we probably should have. But I mean, he was greatly missed last year, and he's going to be so important this year.
Yeah, I totally agree that we didn't talk enough about that. And I remember other years guys were out and injured. We'd be like, well, we're missing this guy. And we really didn't do much of that for some reason. I don't know why, but we didn't. We obviously knew how important he was. I don't disagree with any of that. I think the guy that I think, and maybe this is just, recent memory turmoil or terror or whatever you want to call it. I think Oswin's got to be the guy
Yeah.
because we can't go into like last year where we didn't have, where Jason Green was our best 5.
Mhm.
Now, I guess some of this depends on the development of the other 2 guys. Um, I mentioned Carter Givens is not like I don't think he can play a 5. I mean, I don't know where that's the problem is I don't know where he'd fit in this scheme because we're so loaded at the 4. But, maybe he could give us some minutes at the center position. And then, of course, there's Rosa, who's very raw, but a physical and imposing individual. But I think Oswin's gotta perform, and everything the staff is just over the moon about him. One coach said to me, "I didn't know he was this good, frankly."
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, if I had to make, a or when we do it, like Oswin would be my number one, just because of that was also a major thing we were missing last year. And if you kind of look back to last year and think like, okay, where did some of our downfall happen? The lack of a rim protector was a massive piece, and also like, I'm not saying like but like he's a tough guy, and that was also some of the things that we missed. Like he's gonna bring that a little bit of that dog mentality that we've kind of wanted for the last, especially last year. I think Oswin is going to bring that, and kind of like you've talked about some of the little things that you hear. It's exciting.
Yeah. Alright, so I think we're kinda in agreement there. Um, number like, I don't know if he's number 2, but he's high up on my list, is like I guess this kind of like, it has to go on the fact that we have picked him as the point guard, but I think BJ Davis has to perform well. Now, luckily, we've got other guys that can slide over there, plus we've got, a freshman in Cottrell Harmon who can, play the point, obviously, but I think our success is he has to, he, again, doesn't need to be the leading scorer or what have you. He just needs to be an efficient point guard who can not only run the offense, but do some disruptive things on the defense.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the two guys you have mentioned are I think key to what Huss wants to do and be disruptive on the defensive end. And I mean, the thing is what San Diego State was all about, and bringing in a guy from San Diego State is and BJ Davis is just it's going to be so massive. And again, like I just mentioned with the where did some of the things falter last year, point guard play and our rim protection. And so, that's going to be a key this year. So those two
Yeah.
guys are massively important.
Yeah, and I think, as we move forward here, I think Jackson's probably fallen at 3 slot, but we have some other candidates. But before we get to those, I'd like to talk about Infusion Brewing. Go to Infusion Brewing, infusionbrewing.com. Check out their hours of operation. The great tasting rooms open at 4 o'clock earlier on the weekends, obviously. A great place to sit outside. Man, this weather, it's just been phenomenal.
Yeah.
I just can't believe we haven't just got blasted with that 93 degrees and
Yeah.
80% humidity yet, but we haven't, so it's been
Yeah.
great. So,
Yeah.
great time to go sit out there in their patio, and then also, check out all their beers. You can get those flights and test them all, and then pick up some six-pack and take it home. So Infusion Brewing, and don't forget their Wax and Drafts event coming up the last Sunday. So it'll be, is this Sunday the last Sunday? It is, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So it'll be on Sunday. So check that out at Infusion Brewing. Okay, I think, the next, like, you get down to the 4 and 5 most valuable, it's you could throw out a lot of different names. Who
Yeah.
do you have?
I think, and he was obviously, probably the most indispensable guy last year. But I mean, Jason Green has to be, on this
Yeah.
list. I mean, just from a guy who's been in the program for so long and can do so many things on the basketball court. He can, guard different positions. He can play different positions. And he's we talked about last year who's going to be a leader, and maybe he's not quite the vocal leader, but I think you learn as good things happen, as bad things happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a more bigger leadership role this year, and is better at it. And that's going to be a massive piece, especially with different new pieces coming in. And,
Yeah.
he needs to be that continuity guy that's going to be important for, the coaching staff, because, you got to have that guy then out on the floor, in the locker room, and, off the court, different things like that. And so Jason Green has to be on this list, in my opinion.
Totally agree, totally agree. I had him actually 3rd behind,
Yeah.
Oswin and BJ. I think he's gonna be so indispensable with, like, with the way we're gonna move him around. Like, I think the plan is to kinda start him at the 3, and again, us very similar to Mac's offense, a little bit positionless, but I think he has the skills to be able to go out and guard threes,
Yeah.
which is gonna be huge. And then when you got a guy like that out there, then obviously immediately you put Oswin in the middle, immediately your rebounding is, and you get Jackson back. Now you know,
Yeah.
we should be very good in the rebounding
We
category.
should be. Yes.
I mean, there's just no way around it.
Yep.
And I think then you got a dog like West coming in there, who can get rebounds, and then obviously the way Hudson rebounds. So we've got a nice mix of guys that can get some boards. Um, yeah, he's definitely, the way we're gonna move him around, and, even back up the center a little bit, and, he's not gonna play 20 minutes a game there. He's probably gonna play 3 or 4 or 5. Okay, 5th spot. It's a tough one for me because I could go in a lot of different directions. I guess we don't, it's hard to say this position until we see, like, the final, like, rotations, kind of like how it's all gonna work out. I'm gonna go Hudson. I just think we have to have him. He was nicked up a little bit last year. I think we have to have him a consistent guy right now, looking like he might come off the bench to go out there and give us that huge boost off the bench.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. He was my number 5 as well. I just, I think you talked about it. I talked about it, like, behind when I sat behind the bench, like how big Hudson is. And he's put some more weight on, put some more muscle on. Those guys just aren't, they don't grow on trees. Those athletic wings. It's what Creighton has needed and has missed out on the past. And you saw some flashes early on in Vegas about, the moment was never too big for him. They were struggling in a couple of games, and he pulls up, knocks down a couple threes. He'll go in and battle. He's athletic. I mean, I don't think he showed it as much. Just I think due to the injuries. But the kid he's super athletic, and Creighton needs, you got to have some of these guys hit. The recruits that you get. Obviously, the transfer portal is always going to be there, but if you're going to recruit at the high school level, you need these guys to hit, and he has all the ability. And I think he's a massive piece, especially coming off the bench, because you need those energy guys coming off the bench.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Vegas. So the first thing I think when I think of him last year, one of the first memories is that Iowa State game when we were just really struggling. And
Yeah.
he came in and knocked down some threes and got us kind of kept us in the game for a while. Frankly, prevented Iowa State from getting into the
Right.
final because
Right.
our between him and TJ,
Yeah.
TJ didn't want to rack up the score on Mac. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's yeah, he we got to have that presence. Now, look, we've got other guys. I mean, we haven't talked at all really so far about Bug Edwards, you
Right.
know. He's a guy that's going to be a disruptor. In the short um time I've watched him, he obviously is able to slash and get to the hole. He's got a little bit of a mid-range game. He can shoot a little bit, but yeah, he's really long and wiry, and we haven't had a guy like that in a while.
Yeah.
And then, we're talking about, nobody's talking about Schwartz.
Right. Right.
And
I was actually thinking about him on the list. Yeah.
he's been a little hampered because he had off-season surgery on that ankle that was, remember the end of the year was really bad.
Yeah.
So they're bringing him back slowly. So I think he will probably not participate too much in this phase of the workouts. I think the next phase he will start to participate. He's doing a little non-contact stuff now. So, but yeah, there's another guy.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
there.
the big thing with Swartz is just, it's you can't it's 100% of the time, on the court, it's not that go as hard as you can for 70% of the time. And, I'm sure that the coaching staff is all over him on the defensive side of the ball. So, that's going to be the most, because we all know he has the offensive ability. Now, if you're going to play in this system and with the way Huss wants to do things, you better play on the defensive end. So,
Yeah, and he, what I've heard is his defense has improved, so that's good. And then Wes obviously is going to be a guy. I can't see a scenario in which he's not in the starting lineup. I mean, he's just forget his skills. It's his leadership. He's really taken a leadership role. And yeah, he's a dog. And man, is that dude built lower body, man. He's something. It's kind of interesting. I stumbled on an old Viking Bears game on YouTube the other day, and his dad was running back.
oh yeah, nice.
But yeah, and obviously, the shooting part of it,
Yeah,
we've got a lot of shooters, but we need one on the wing,
yeah,
and I guess that's between him and Schwartz, right? Whoever performs the best is going to get the most minutes there. But I think he brings different things defensively too that maybe Schwartz doesn't. But yeah, so I think that's a pretty good rundown. Do want to mention RTI Threads. RTI Threads, exclusive apparel provider, a Blue Jay banner. Got my pullover on today. Check them out. They've got everything. They not only Creighton gear, other sports. They also have local high school teams on there as well. Plus, if you have an event coming up, a golf tournament, a run, whatever the case is, you need some T-shirts, they're the place to go. So check it all out. That's RTI Threads, rtithreads.com. I want to mention something came across the wire yesterday. Jehens Manigat
yeah. I saw that.
was at Murray State last year as I think he was director of basketball operations, I believe. But now he's big full-time assistant at South Dakota State. So,
Yeah, congratulations.
Kate is his, partner. So she's, from Omaha, being at Creighton. And so he'll be a lot closer to home now.
Yeah.
And great, kind of a South Dakota State's kind of, if you look back, they've been churning out coaches.
They really have. Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
not only TJ, but then the guy Drake now. He was at South Dakota State. I mean, it's kind of become a coaching hotbed there. So, and then we can catch up with Jay here,
Yeah.
at least once a year when they come to Omaha. So that's nice. So, congratulations to him. Excited for him. I'm going to miss him on Coach Miller's staff, but hey, great move for Jehens.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the Mac tree just keeps on growing.
Right. Right.
Pretty amazing, really.
It
I
is.
mean,
It really is.
underrated. You start looking at the guys that are out there.
Yeah.
Didn't he have wasn't there one year? Because he had Huss, he had, you know, like, he had Huss, we talk about Lutz just building Oklahoma State now, and they will they were in postseason last year. I'm pretty sure they're gonna be in the NCAA tournament this year. Huss, Lutz, um, um, Sellers at Central Connecticut. I think
Yeah.
they were in the tournament one year.
They were, yeah.
Obviously TJ, the success he's had. Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Oh, D-Rock, obviously.
T-Rock, yeah.
Um, who else am I missing? I'm missing somebody else. Oh, he's got several guys like back in the day at like
Oh,
North
yeah,
Dakota
yeah.
State
Yes.
and a lot of guys up there. I think the guy at Northern Iowa, I think maybe at one time. Yeah, I know we're missing somebody obvious, but I can't like this early in the morning. But yeah, D-Rock and Lutz are big time, obviously. Well, who's on our staff? I mean, Mitch is growing up from a graduate assistant to full
Yeah,
assistant now.
yeah.
Jahans. Oh, well, Ryan Miller. We're talking
Yeah,
about him.
yeah.
You know, um, I don't know. Does he get to take credit for DK if he gets a job?
Uh, yeah, yeah. Why not?
DK's kind of already plowed
Yeah,
his own field here.
yeah,
I mean, working for Calipari and
yeah,
being coach at UMass and LIU. Um, but yeah,
yeah. It's pretty amazing. And definitely not talked about enough. But it's outstanding.
well, not to mention he's got guys like in D2, like isn't Brooks McCowan in D2 or D3 somewhere coaching, and it's like these guys pop up every time. It seems like every
Right,
time we do an exhibition game, you're like, oh, I didn't know this guy
right,
coached for
right.
Mac.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know it's summer, but one last topic here. I know it's summer, but Mac's kind of taken like Mac's just disappeared.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like some guys like even Jim Henry now, after all these years, is kind of back in the fold at
yeah.
Creighton with the baseball team. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if it's one of those things where just, hey, let's just get away here for a few months and really just
Well,
decompress, and
does he just wanna not be around? I
yeah,
mean, to let Huss do his thing. I
yeah,
get that part.
yeah,
Um, even Ras comes to practices every once in a while.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it'll be, one of those things where, hey, let Huss do his thing right now, and Mac may stop by, maybe closer towards basketball season, but with this off season workouts and things like that, like just let Haas run with it and be the guy and not have, and I'm sure he wouldn't feel that Max over his shoulder or anything like that, but it may be a little weird. So
Here's the scenario I love. So Huss gets off to a great start, wins a bunch of these non-conference games. We're like 9-1 in the Big East. UConn comes to town. We put Mac right behind the UConn bench.
yeah, love it.
So every time Curly turns around, there's Mac.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
What about we haven't talked about this. What about Dusty May?
Oh yeah, crazy. It was a crazy NBA day. I saw an interview where he was pretty outspoken about the train wreck that is college sports.
Wow, I did not he sounded like in the thing I saw, he sounded miserable for a
Yeah,
guy that just won the national title. Like he
yeah,
really did not enjoy his job.
yeah. So that was yeah. I didn't at the time. I don't think anybody thought anything of it, but obviously if the right offer came along, which it obviously did, he was gone. So
Yeah, and he was miserable about the way things are. You sure the hell I figured it out.
yeah, right. Yeah,
I mean, not only at FAU but at Michigan,
oh
most prominently, like to just jump up quickly
right.
in the portal
Oh yeah,
and get the things done he did. Now, yeah, crazy.
yeah. That was not expecting that to pop up on the
I just, and
feeds.
again, I get back to this list of college coaches that have gone to the NBA, and it just doesn't work. I mean, Billy Donovan was the one guy I think of that worked.
Yeah,
Patino to a very small degree. Brad Stevens kind of worked.
yeah,
But then he got tired of it,
right.
he was a front office type guy. I can't think of anyone else. Can you? I mean, the Beeline is the most one for Michigan. He didn't even last the first season.
Right.
Um, there's all kinds of guys that have failed, though. I know that.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. The failure is a lot more than the successes. So
And you wonder, like, when you talk to those coaches, they're like, oh yeah, I'd like to go to the NBA. Like Hurley was dabbling in it. Why would you leave UConn? Like,
right. Right.
I know he wants to be the show, but I just don't get, because are you really? I mean, I would like to like be around an NBA team just to see how much, because do you really think? I mean, it has to more be like a psychologist team, a CEO of a company,
Yeah.
rather than an X and O guy. Because I just don't think very many teams believe in the X and O stuff.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's part of the reason why, like, Brad Stevens jumped is because he is an X and O guy, and you could tell watching him. And then after a while, it's like, okay, like this isn't,
Yeah.
let me get out of the NBA and go, be the control and get the guys in there that we want, and then that coach can do. I mean, as a Celtics fan, Missoula doesn't do a whole lot of X's and O's. They're chucking up a lot of threes, so there's not a lot of X and O's in that. So,
And
yeah,
it seems the same guys get rotated, like Brown, like he's been
oh
several
yeah,
spots.
yeah,
You think you go way back, there's guys like Harris and just kept bouncing around teams, kind of like baseball managers.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's
Could
not
you
that they don't
could
know
you
the game.
imagine?
Obviously, they know the game. A guy like Patino,
No,
there's
yeah.
nobody who knows the game better than him.
But could you imagine like Hurley in the Lakers huddle, like getting in LeBron's face? LeBron be like, "Dude, what do you get away from me?"
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
just
yeah, I don't, I don't know. It'll be interesting, and obviously, the Mavs have some pieces, and obviously
yeah.
Flag, but it'll be interesting,
That'd be the only positive is he's got a guy who was the best player in college basketball just a couple of years ago.
right?
Knows like who this guy is and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just just I just can't imagine like how you would talk to a guy
right.
like LeBron or
Yeah,
Brunson or anybody,
right.
Like yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why Jay Wright for so long turned the NBA down. I mean, the NBA wanted him bad, and he's like, "No,
Yeah.
I'm not."
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So anyway, very interesting move there. Good
yeah,
for Creighton. I mean,
right.
because you wouldn't think they would be better than they were with Dusty May. So,
Yeah,
and how many guys are going to leave? Because that
right.
window opens up, I think. Is it open right away, or does it have
No,
to wait?
it's like 30 days after, and then is when it opens up.
But then it's only for 15 days,
Then
right?
it's only for 15 days. Yep.
So they've got to wait.
So you can start announcing now if you want to leave. It's that thing where like the transfer portal technically wasn't open, but guys were
Can't
saying that
officially
they're
announce it.
going. Yeah, so yeah, it's weird. It's like 31 days I actually was looking at it today. So
Well, I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure I'm correct on this. So I think like, I don't think, I know, Creighton's like, they've got a couple spots yet and they're working on one guy, but they're okay with leaving a spot open if stuff like this happens. So,
right,
if somebody wants to move, like there's a lot of teams, their rosters are filled, so they
yeah,
can go anywhere.
yeah,
So Creighton in that perspective is in a good spot.
yeah,
Now, it's gonna be kinda hard because we're already kinda looking like minutes, I
yeah,
mean,
right, right.
but yeah, very interesting. All right. Well, that's our 200 show. Covered a lot of ground. Mike, thanks so much for, all you've contributed to these shows,
Yeah.
and, we'll probably do it again Friday. We'll maybe get Jay's Classic on here. It's probably time to do a random Jay. You
All
guys
right.
are you guys are getting out of practice for that, so
Right.
but then
Yeah.
we'll have, well, like I said, we'll have a show Friday, then we're taking 2 weeks off, so then we'll be
Yeah.
back with you, unless we have some kind of huge breaking news, and then we'll come back with you. All right. Thanks to our wonderful sponsors. Thanks to all you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton, and we'll see you Friday.
Go Jays.